This 10 News Pinpoint Weather Report is sponsored by Anderson Plumbing, Heating, and Air. Nobody wows clients like we do.
Y'all are not going to see me outside that much today because stuff might actually feel kind of terrible, at least by San Diego standards, right? It's going to feel a little more like a Florida swamp or something like that because it's going to be hot, it's going to be humid, and we also have a chance for thunderstorms throughout the day. And the map tells us everything we need to know, but this setup hasn't really changed much since at least Wednesday. We have a heat dome, that big area of high pressure. That is the main driver for those really high temperatures, but it doesn't only trap a lot of warm air towards the ground where we can feel it, it's also driving monsoon moisture, high humidity air from Mexico towards us. That is going to make things feel really, really sticky a little later in the day. But right now, I want to talk about the heat too. We still have our watches and warnings, a heat advisory for inland neighborhoods and an extreme heat warning for the mountains, both of those scheduled to go until tonight. And right now, you can feel the impacts of the heat dome even this morning, because in San Diego, we're at almost 70 degrees. The entire coastline hanging down near 70, same for some inland neighborhoods, and then comes the heat a little later. Looking on the bright side, we're not going to break any temperature records like we did a couple days ago, but San Diego still going to reach up to 80 degrees today. Inland neighborhoods still going to see highs in the low to mid 90s, mountains seeing more 90s, and in the deserts they're going to reach up as high as 110 degrees. And it's going to feel really muggy, so when the dew point gets above about 60, that's when things start to get uncomfortable. So you can see it's much higher than that in San Diego, but as bad as it's going to be on the coast and some inland neighborhoods, in the deserts you find some spots where it's going to be really, really unbearable. So the humidity is not just something that makes it feel hotter throughout the day, it's also the fuel source for a chance of thunderstorms, especially in the afternoon. Notice the way that they're going to be centered around the mountains in the deserts. Those are the areas that'll see most of it. But still, I would bring an umbrella if you're heading out in the afternoon. We could easily see some showers making their way to inland neighborhoods, maybe even the coast. And the rain totals aren't expected to be that impressive for most areas. Maybe up to a quarter inch for some parts of the mountains, definitely less for the coast. But one big concern here is the risk of dry lightning. So if we get a lightning strike in a place like Mount Laguna or like a place in the desert that doesn't have a lot of rain or a lot of moisture near it, then the thunderstorms can actually cause a wildfire risk. So we have heat, fire risk, and the chance for a little bit of rain. So you can take everything we're seeing today and then ramp that up a little bit for tomorrow. Tomorrow the rain chance is going to peak for most areas, so it's going to be even more humid with an even bigger chance of showers, but really we could see some rainfall coming as late as Tuesday and even Wednesday. But there is a little light at the end of the tunnel. In San Diego's 7-day forecast, we can see we're going to cool down by just a couple degrees once we get to the middle of next week. That's when things are going to start to ease up a little bit. So even though San Diego's temperatures aren't changing a whole lot in between Tuesday and Wednesday, it's still going to feel different now because the monsoon moisture, that humidity, is going to start to back off a little bit. So stuff is definitely going to be more manageable on Thursday and Friday than it will be today, even though there won't be a huge change in temperatures. And the same is definitely true for inland neighborhoods. They have a bigger temperature swing going from 93 tomorrow, warmest day of the week, to highs in the upper 80s by Tuesday and Wednesday, but the humidity is going to make all the difference this weekend. Make sure you're staying safe and limiting your time outdoors in the hottest hours of the day. There's a slight chance of showers spilling over from the mountains all the way through to Tuesday. A little bit less so for Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday, although it's certainly possible. I don't want to rule that out. Into the mountains, highs are going to be pretty close to 90. They drop all the way down to the low 80s by Thursday and Friday, with a pretty consistent chance of thunderstorms through to Wednesday. And into the deserts, we could see more storms for several days in a row, going from 110 today to 104 by Friday. So there's a light at the end of the tunnel, but before that, we are hot, humid, and uncomfortable.